Hey, welcome back. We had a video that was out about a year ago that's almost at 1 million views and never ceases to amaze me the questions and the comments that come in. And I really want you to put some comments on this one because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back through the questions and comments about how you pay for your house. Now, how you pay for your house is a pretty important thing, and it has to do with wealth transfers in your life. But first, let's talk about your circle of knowledge. Now, you see, in your circle of knowledge, you have things that you know to be true. You're just absolutely convinced that these things are true no matter what. They'll always be true. Nothing about that's going to change. Now, in addition to that, you have things that you don't know. So maybe you don't know how to do brain surgery as an example, but when it comes to knowing what you know to be true, you should pay off your house as fast as possible. You should put your money in tax deferred accounts because you're growing money would have otherwise paid in taxes. In the end, you're going to have more money. All of these things that they tell you. But the reality of the matter is that most people are running through life with blind spots. Right, and their blind spots are over here, and it's like you could be driving down the road and there's a car right next to you, but you can't see it because it's traveling the same speed you are right next to you. So there are certain things out there that you know to be true that you want to change, or you don't know, and you want to change or expand your knowledge. Well, to expand your knowledge, there's about 3 ways to do that. One is the places you go, the things you experience. So maybe you don't know anything about Europe until you actually go there and experience Europe, and then you have a pretty good idea how that works. The things you read, you could read a book on Europe, all right? And the people you meet, or transfer knowledge. And by the way, this is how it went through most of history. What we would do is transfer knowledge. We would stay around the campfire, we would tell stories. Now, in the things that we know to be true, what if it turns out that everything you thought to be true turned out to not be true? When would you want to know? Well, folks, there are many things out there that people believe to be true that are not necessarily true. And in addition to that, in the things that they don't know, there's many things that are inside of their blind spot that could make a tremendous difference in their financial life if they just knew about it. Now, I'm reminded of the person that goes over to her mother's house for Thanksgiving, and she asks her mother, she says, "Mom," she says, "how come you always cut the ends off the ham before you cook it?" She says, "I have absolutely no idea." So she calls up her mom, and she says, "Mom, how come you always cut the ends off the ham before you cook it?" She says, "Well, I don't know about you, honey, but I do it because my pan's too short." Now, hopefully you got that joke, because what it says is that many people do things based on what they think to be true because that's what they've always been taught. For every dollar you acquire, you may choose to spend it or invest it. Invested dollars will grow over time. Spent dollars are gone forever. The potential future value of spent dollars is called opportunity cost. And I think if you were to go back and look at that video and you were to look at the comments, the thing that most people missed the most was the opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? Well, do you earn interest or on an expense? Is the expense money spent accessible? And what would the money spent be worth at some future date if you had been able to invest it? That's opportunity cost. So rather than taking all this cash and throwing it in your house to pay for your house, what if you took that cash and invested it? What would that look like over time? So one of the biggest wealth transfers that people make in their life is how they pay for their house. And most people are transferring money unknowingly and unnecessarily out of their life. And if they simply were to learn some few basic things, they could change their financial future forever. Yet they're listening to the Dave Ramseys and all the talking heads out there about how you should do things that talk to broke people, not people with money. So there's a potential for wealth transfers when it comes to how you pay for your house. And obviously that happens in whether you pay cash for your house or whether you finance your house. Because see, folks, it costs money to live indoors. In addition to that, there's taxes on that are wealth transfers as well. So let's enter some information here and calculate on our mortgage. So let's start off with a $500,000 mortgage here because these days that's pretty much a going house. And let's take it at 6% interest. Now, you can argue that it's 7% interest, 8% interest, whatever number. You need to understand that interest rates are relative. So if interest rates are at 6 or 7%, that means CD rates are at 5 or 6%. And if interest rates are at 18%, CD rates are at 14%. So money is relative. So if we take out over here and we calculate a mortgage at 6% on $500,000 for 30 years, what's going to happen here is over that 30-year period of time, we're going to pay $579,191. So we paid out twice the value of that house as far as what we actually bought it for. So instead of buying it for $500,000, we're buying it for $1,079,000 because we had to pay the interest. But would it surprise you to know that if I took that money and I invested it at 6%, the exact same rate that I'm borrowing at, over that same period of time, that my principal and interest, or my growth on that money, would be $3,011,288. So that's opportunity cost. So it cost me money to finance the house. It's $579,000. But had I actually kept the money, kept it safe, liquid, and making a rate of return, I would actually be ahead by almost $2.5 million. It's a pretty big difference. So let's take a look here on how people actually buy their house. So the average person goes out here, and what they do is they save up for their down payment. Now, once that down payment is all saved up, what they do is they go out here and then they use that down payment to find the house and buy the house. And they take out a mortgage. Okay, so they drain that account. They no longer have that over there in any kind of a liquid environment, and they're putting it inside the house. Now, understand that equity inside of your house has a 0% rate of return, but it's necessary. You have to do that. Now, another way to do this, so they got a loan on it, the secure loan, and then they pay off that loan over 15 or 30 years, whatever the case may be. But another way to do this is, oh, by the way, equity is available upon the sale or qualification. Now, what does that mean, qualification? I hear people say all the time, well, I'm going to go get an equity line of credit. Well, folks, do you understand that, first off, they don't have to loan you the money? And second, if they do loan you the money, they can call that loan. If it's a home equity line of credit, they can call it at any point. There's all these crazy stories about go out and get a home equity line of credit, but people don't understand that those loans can get called for any reason at any time. Now, they can't force you to pay it back immediately, but they can freeze your line of credit, eliminating the liquidity. So if we go out over here and we self-finance, then what we do is we build up our savings account, and we build up enough cash, call it $500,000. We build it up, and we go find the house, and now we drain our account. So we pay cash for the house, causing this opportunity cost. So the equity is available upon the sale and or qualification. Now, I say qualifications because you've got to go get the bank and convince the bank to loan it to you. It's just like your qualified money, IRA, 401k, you have to be qualified to get the money out. Now, some things to consider. What if I went out over here and I actually had the money in my savings account? I had a mortgage on my house. If the savings and the mortgage rates are equal, and the cost will be the same. So, there are two ways to have a paid off house. And in that video, if you go watch that video, the one that has like 1 million views on it, you'll hear these words. It said, you should pay for your house as fast as you possibly can. You should just always have the largest possible mortgage right up until the day you die. Now, folks, in this picture, I've got $500,000 in my savings account, I have $500,000 liability, and I have a house over here. I could go pay off my house at any point. So by having a mortgage, it allows me to maintain control of my money, allowing me to get that opportunity cost or invest it somewhere else and take care of any problems that may happen. The accessibility to the home equity requires qualification once again. So if I want to use the home equity, I've got to go get qualified to do that. but I've maintained the safety, liquidity, and rate of return in my account by not giving all of the money to the banking institution. Now, folks, I want to hear your comments on what I just showed you. Do you believe it's better to pay cash for your house or finance your house for whatever period of time, 10 years, 15, 30 years, whatever the case may be? Or do you believe that, what do you believe? And do you understand opportunity cost? Do you understand that it's better to have safety, liquidity, and rate of return on your money? Please subscribe to our channel, share this with your friends, and put some comments down below. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you in the not too distant future. Keep smiling and make it a great day.